Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get back on the channel. Jon Tretheway. Yeah, and how are you, John?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm all good. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, we'll just talk through your next card. You've got a couple good ones coming up at the minute. Yeah, we'll talk about the Ipswich one. Who should we talk about first? Should we talk about Ben is it Piper v Liam Griffins?
Liam Griffiths, that's it. Yeah, so Ben Piper he had his debut for us down in Harrow. So it'd be good to get him back out. It's quick for him. That was what, December the 8th or 4th, something like that. So he's back out within like 2 months. Really good for him. Happy to come and sort of like do a show in Ipswich, considering he's not from Ipswich as well, which shows credit to him. He just wants to be out regularly. So hopefully sort of like get a good win against Liam. Liam's in his 100th fight on the night. So that's a very experienced fighter for Ben. And it will be a different test that he had last time, and hopefully getting ready for future fights down the line.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he fought, I think it was Naeem Ali on his debut.
hmm Yeah, another one who's super experienced, Naeem. I think he's had his 100 already. So
Mm.
these particular fighters that have been that experienced, they bring a lot of different tests and a lot of experience to these prospects that are really valuable for them in terms of stepping up, as I said, in later fights. So another good test for him.
Yeah, and of course, it's Liam's 100th fight, so he'll fancy, hopefully, he'll go for it in this fight.
Yeah, he definitely will. Liam always would anyway. We'll have a cheeky little, hopefully, an award and a well done for him for his 100th fight in the ring, and we'll do that on the night. But yeah, it's a nice fight.
Yeah. Austin McGregor v Charlie Sheldon.
Yeah, similar kind of thing. Not had many fights recently. Just turned over pro.
Because he's only
Uh,
1-0 at the minute.
that's it, and that was on our Ipswich show as well back in when was that now? October, I think, or November. I can't remember myself, to be fair. Good show. So it's good to have him back out. He's back out in his hometown. It'll be the same kind of thing. Charlie Sheldon's had a lot of fights. He's experienced, but he's a journeyman. He'll bring some tests to him that hopefully Austin will learn from before we start stepping him up in later fights. Exactly the same as Ben there.
Is he from Ipswich, Austin?
I think he's from Norwich. He's up that way somewhere or across that way because I'm not far west from them. Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I've not had him fight on the show before, but he is local to that area.
Mm-hmm. Um, Franklin Ignatius, on BoxRec it says he's boxing in a 6 rounder, but no opponent on BoxRec at the minute.
Yeah, that's right. It's great to have Franco out again. He fought on Harrow. He's
Against Phil
7-1.
Williams.
That's right. He's 7-1 now. He dropped Phil Williams. He didn't stop him, but he dropped him, and that's a hard thing to do to Phil Williams. He's very durable and very game and a very, very good journeyman. So he looked good in that fight, I felt. And now he needs to kick on and move on. He's proving hard to match. That's why it's not showing anything on BoxRec. It'll probably be someone from abroad and hopefully with a good record that is another step up for Franco because Franco's used to the big TV lights and that's where he wants to get. And watch this space. Hopefully, he gets another big wing. Hopefully, a knockout because he's a heavyweight, and they go looking for them, don't they? And then expect some big stuff from Franco later in the year.
Yeah, because he suffered his first defeat against Jamie TKV, and of course he's had that one in December and now this one, and then hopefully gets try and get back in that title picture.
Yeah, there's no shame in losing to Jamie TKV, and I'm sure if they had a rematch down the line, a little bit more experience, a couple more fights, it could go the other way anyway. That's how heavyweight boxing works. So
Yeah.
we know where Franco's at. We're pleased to be part of his journey. This will be the third time we've had him on our show. So I think it was our second show and maybe his second fight we had him. So he's a lovely guy to work with, and it's always great to have a heavyweight on the show. So let's expect some fireworks, but we'll get him matched in the next day or two, hopefully.
Yeah, you had him on your when it was Billy Allington v Jamie Robinson.
That's it. Good memory. That was a very good card for us down in Brentwood, and it was early in Franco's career. So he then went off and had about 4, 5, 6 fights, whatever it was, more after. And then we got him back at Harrow. So it's always good to get fighters back when they've moved on. And we've got him again. So let's see what we can do here and see if we can work with him going forward.
Yeah, 100%. And Callum Ferretti v Christian Narvaez,
Yeah,
four
good.
rounds lightweights.
Yeah, good step up again for Cullum. I think he had his debut with us, and then he's had a second fight a month later in Norwich. That was on a Christmas show. So that'd be his third fight in like 4 months. So really good progress for him. Let's not have too many because you can't fight every month forever. But to get 2, 3 fights under your belt early doors in like 4 months or so, will put him in good stead. So good step up for Naves, winning record. I think you'll have that there in front of you. And again, he'll pose some different tests from the last 2 fights for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Um, Next is 6 rounds between Danny Borderman, who's 2-0, v Nabil Ahmed.
Yeah, I don't know much about Danny. To be fair, he wanted to go on the show. He lives down in Surrey, in Epsom, which is quite a trek from Ipswich. But I believe he's got some connections in Ipswich, which is why he wants to go on there. I think he's going to do a few tickets, which will be good. So it'll be pleasing to have him out on the show. Another one, I think he's 2-0 at the moment.
2 and
So
0.
one of these prospects that's just trying to build up before we move him on.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I mean, you should have on his debut. He fought, I think it was Louis Smithson on a top tier show. He went guns blazing in that round one. He was trying to take Louis' head off from the get go. And then I think on his second fight, he fought Yin Casado on a Wasserman card in September.
That's right. And again, they're good shows to be on. He's coming on another good show. So fair play to him in the first fight. Louis came and have a go. He wasn't a textbook journeyman. That shows that he's above Louis and above Yin. So we're looking forward to working with him as well.
And Nabil was awkward as they come.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, we know that.
And yeah, because you don't get many journeymen at the lower weights, do you?
No, you don't. And to be fair, what weight's that at? Is that a welter or super light? I can't think off the top of my head. I haven't
No,
got it in front of me.
Bantam.
Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, Bantamweight Nabil. So actually, you're right. There aren't loads of them down there. You got Stephen Jackson, you got Stephen Maguire, stuff like that. So
Jake
actually,
Pollard
yeah, Jake's another one.
around there,
Jake
yeah.
Paul, Jack Williams at the Ipswich show. Another one that they're good journeymen. They bring you tests, and it's all part of their learning and development.
Yeah, and that it's 6 rounds, this one.
Yes.
hmm Um who should we talk about next? Should we talk about yeah, Dan Francis, of course, currently 8-0. He's boxing Ryan Frost, who he's been on your last two, well, back end of the year. Yeah, he's been on two of your shows, that's what I mean, against Mitchell Smith and I believe it was Michael McKinson as well.
Yeah, you've named it there. You always know your stuff. What you got to remember is they're good fighters that he fought against Ryan Frost. Yeah, and McKinson come out the ring and he was like Johnny's tough. Mitchell Smith come out the ring and he was like Johnny's good. So that tells you where he's at. And Dan needs a step up probably. Dan's a very good fighter. He's with the Nielsen's who I work with, so definitely we're part of his journey and his progress. This is a big fight for him. But then after, if he comes through this, as you're probably aware, we've already announced that he's got the Southern Area title fight against Oliver Duffy, and that will be
Well,
a
at
barnstorm.
welterweight.
Yeah, welterweight Southern Area, and obviously Ollie, I'm part of that team. Ollie's with me, Dan's with the Nielsen. So let's not look past that Ryan Frost at all because it's a tough fight for Dan. But we expect him to come through, and then that will be a barnstormer on the O2, along with the other 10, 11, 50, 50 fights that we'll have.
Yeah, exactly that. And yeah, it's Dan's ninth contest. I believe he was just double checking now. His last fight was, oh no, he's fought Ged, is it Gegic?
Slab Legic, yeah.
Yeah, that was in October
Mm-hmm.
on the Oakford Miller card, and then he fought Tussiv Masood on a Christmas show, and he got a first round knockout.
That's it. Yeah, definite. So look, as I said, Dan's a good fighter. And we expect good things from him on the Ipswich show. I can't really pick who's going to win out of him and Ollie Duffy. I'm obviously going to back our guy because Ollie's my guy and they'll back their guy. But that is a real good fight, provided we come through this on February the 8th.
And and it's a great card full of 50-50s, and it's, well, tough to pick who's going to win in most of them. So
What, the O2?
at the O2, and we'll get on to the three 50-50 fights that you've got on this show as well, because they're top fights.
Yeah, the O2, Sam. I mean, I'm not sure we're going to talk about this or not. It's up to you what you want to talk about. But the O2, At the moment, there's 10, 11 fights. And when I say 50-50, about 5 or 6 of them have got some kind of title or eliminator associated to it. And they're all sort of like, you've seen the card, you're like, wow, who wins that? Who wins that? So the O2 show that we had last July against the Nielsen's, that's probably the biggest show I've been involved with. I'd like to think I could say the same for them.
Would you
This will
say
be
that
big.
was bigger than the show you had in America?
Um, I think it was different, Sam. It's good. It was bigger, if I'm honest, and there was a lot more people there. There were a lot more 50-50 fights. But America was America for us, right? We took 6 fighters fought in the end when we went over there in their backyard, all in 50-50 fights. So it was a totally different experience in terms of me going to Texas with those lads and the team and the managers and the trainers. I haven't probably had a better experience myself in boxing yet, but it helped. It was on foreign soil. I also like a few chicken wings and some seafood. So America's really good for that. But the actual show, yes, I'd probably say the show was a better show. And this one at the O2 on March 22nd will be bigger and better.
100%. And yeah, Jason Myers.
Yeah, again, someone I don't know that much about. Impossible to bloody match. He's one of the only two not matched at the moment. That'll be done in the next couple of days. He's 1-0 with 1 knockout. Nobody wants to touch him. The reputation of him is very, very big. We've not had him before, but I don't know if it's because he's had 1 fight with 1 knockout or whether he's just meant to be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to watching him, and hopefully we'll get a knockout from him whoever he does fight.
Yeah. And then you've got Jack Belelko, yeah, the Robbie Chapman, 6 rounds light heavyweight. Of course, Jack last fought Bahadur Kamari, who we know who's fought quite a few times on your show. And he got a draw last time out.
Yeah, it's a shame for Jack. Jack would have come there as the home fighter, expecting to win that. I think it was 3-0 at the time. Now it was a draw with Karami, and he got again. This is the point: you get tests. You come on the show. You're not just there to just beat anyone. He got a proper test where he thought he'd win, and he got a draw. He will get learning from that better than any of the 3 fights before, and that'll put him in good stead. He's fighting someone similar in Robbie Chapman. Robbie Chapman, he's a fantastic operator. Robbie Chapman. I haven't had him on for a while, Robbie, so it'd be nice to have him on the Camden caretaker. So that will be a good fight on the night, and don't be surprised if there's a stoppage there, mate.
Yeah, great fight between them two. Then you've got Owen Blundell, that's 6 rounds lightweight, the Jordan Harding. Yeah, he's sort of he's a new journeyman, isn't he, Jordan? Because he's had 4 fights at the minute.
Yeah, with Owen, I mean, he's with the Nielsen's again. He's from up that way, Norwich way. He fought on the last time he fought was in the Ipswich card with us. He looked good, and what's his record now, Sam? You got there 7
He's
and 0, 8 and
no,
0.
he's 8-0 with 1 draw.
That's it, 8 and 0, sorry, with a draw. So he's kind of ready almost for that step up for that big 50-50 fight. He'd recently signed with them. They had 1 fight with him. We're going to have one more here against Jordan Harding. And then hopefully he'll be ready for some big 50-50s and title fights a bit later in the year. Not too late, maybe the next fight. But a good talent, I think. And let's see what he can bring again in front of his fans.
Yeah. And next up, it's brilliant fight, 6 rounds in the bantamweight division. I know you're looking forward to this one. Jack Williams, who's 1-0, v Jack Hughes, who's 10-3-1. Talk about this fight.
Yeah, now you're talking about the really tasty fights, right? So this is a strange one for me. So Jack Williams is 1-0. He had his debut with us on the Ipswich show. He's from Ipswich. He's an incredible talent. He's an incredible ticket seller. He puts bums on seats, but he's a fantastic at what he does. Now, the noises in the gym, and I can only go by people I speak to, Sam, whether that's trainers, whether that's fighters themselves, don't need to mention names, is that Jack Williams could be the best of the lot of them anywhere at his weight, certainly for where he's at. Now, who would you see after 1-0 then want to jump in with someone like Jack Hughes? Now, Jack Hughes is actually my fighter, which makes it even strange because obviously we're invested in Jack Williams because we're coming to Ipswich to do the show. But Jack Hughes is my fighter, so clearly I got back Jack Hughes. Jack is 10-3 now. So you know his record better than me. You speak to Jack a lot. Jack is exceptionally good. He retired and now he's back. Jack just wants some big fights. He wants to earn some money and he don't want to go and fight any journeyman.
And
And that's
and he's got a few fights lined up after this one, and so is Jack as well. And
Yeah,
Jack
they have.
Williams as well.
Yeah, they have. They both have. And I've got to be honest with you, that's hats off to them. So clearly someone's got to win and someone's got to lose, right? Unless it's a draw, but they're unlikely draws. So if Jack Hughes gets beat by Jack Williams, he's still going to fight at Chelsea against an American. And you've got to look at that. His next fight against the American on the Chelsea show, which is a huge show for us, he's fighting a guy who's 5-0 with 5 first round knockouts. But we've done our study on it. You know, that's my job and Jack's job. We think he wins that. And you might think, really? But we do. We also think when you look at Jack Williams is excellent, but it's a big step up for him. He's going to have the bright lights on him, smaller gloves, no headgear. He's had his debut, but Jack Hughes will come and have a fight, as you saw when he fought Lewis Roberts, you know, and look at the level Lewis is at now. He was a bit unlucky there. You can't view
And that,
that
and
because
that was a close fight as well, Jack and Lewis Roberts.
yeah, I don't think you can get it anywhere online because they didn't release it and it wasn't filmed. But it got stopped 2 rounds before the end on an accidental clash of heads, and Lewis Roberts got the nod. I still argue, but I'm biased that maybe it would. But I think if you look back, he probably was the right decision. But Jack grew into the fight, and if that had gone 2 more rounds, I'm certain Jack would have won. He lost by a round or so. I thought it was a round or a draw. The size difference between Lewis Roberts and Jack Hughes was immense. You would have looked at it and thought Jack's got no chance if you didn't know him at the start, but he's tough and he's strong and he's durable and he'll bring it to Jack Williams, and that fight will be an absolute war in Ipswich. And anyone who's coming there, you know, get your seat, get your beer, sit down and watch it because it will be excellent.
Yeah, that's going to be fireworks, that fight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I mean, all three of these main fights could be a show stealer.
Yep, all three of them. And it's great. You know, the show we had in Ipswich last time was a really successful show, hence why we've gone back. They looked after us, we looked after them. Great relationship up there with Matt in Ipswich and Graham in Norwich, amongst others. There's other managers that we obviously deal with as well, and fighters. So we've gone back and done it again, but this show looks a bit better. And then you're probably going to move on to the next one. Which one are you going to talk about next, Paul and Tom?
No, should we talk about the Commonwealth silver title fight
Yeah,
between
definitely. Obviously.
Eilish? Well, they're both 3-0. Eilish, Tierney, and Katie Smith. Talk about this another great fight.
Yeah, I think you said it all. They're both undefeated. They're both putting their undefeated records on the line. They're fighting for a Commonwealth silver title. I genuinely, Sam, can't tell you who wins it. I think we had Katie's debut down in Portsmouth. She's naturally a bit bigger. I think she was fighting at super lightweight, maybe a tad more. Coming down to, sorry, she's coming down to super featherweight here. So let's see how she gets on there. Eilish, ideally, I think would probably fight at featherweight, but she's fighting at super feather. She's fought that weight anyway, but I don't think it's the ideal weight. But there aren't many women out there, so when you fight, sometimes you might have to fight someone 3, 4, 5 pounds heavier and put a bit of weight on because there just aren't loads of them there. I think Eilish has got the fans. You know, it's in her hometown. It might come down to, Sam, who can bite down on that gum shield and who can just hold on that bit more, because both fighters aren't coming to tuck up, right? So they're both going to open up. So when one lets go, the other's going to come back. Again, a bit like the Jack and the Jack fight, this is going to be a war. I feel a little bit split because the managers are both my friends. You know, Matt's with Eilish. I've got Michael Ballinall with Katie. We've done a show in Portsmouth. We've done a show in Ipswich. But hats off to both ladies, and both camps for taking the fight. Let the best lady win, and that's what you do. There's a title on the line for them. Win or lose, whoever loses will still go on to big fights next, and we'll help them with that. And the winner will obviously kick on anyway with some big titles, hopefully down the line.
Yeah, 100%. And it's both their first 10 rounders. I don't believe they've both done a 6 rounder, but first 10.
Well, it's a title fight, right? So on all those bits, neither they're going into waters they've never been in before. Both of them, as I said, I genuinely can't pick it. I think Katie might be a bit bigger. You know, Eilish has been a bit more active. Will the fans make a difference? Will it be home territory? You know, all that. But Katie Smith, quiet, goes about her business, just very, very quiet, very confident. Eilish, she's lovely to deal with. She's very good on social media, very respectful. Yeah, it's one of them. I want to watch it because it'll be amazing, but I might just go and sit out in the car and make a few phone calls because I don't want to watch anyone lose. But the fans will be the winners on the night, mate.
Yeah, and if you win the Commonwealth silver, it gets you a good position in the Commonwealth rankings.
Yeah, I think so. Look, yeah, firstly, it's a belt. and you're fighting someone who's a live prospect as well. So it's not like a journey person. So you get more ranking points. And I've said this many a time in interviews, but we've seen people fight for world titles. I think Nina Hughes fought for a world title after 4 or 5. Ebony Bridges after 6. The winner of this will be 4-0. Maybe one or two more fights, and then why can't they be knocking on the door themselves? So let's see who wins. Let's see. It might be a draw. It might be that close that we replay it back. They might both want to play it back, but I'm looking forward to this one big time.
100%. And is Paul Gordon v Tom Brennan your main event, or?
No, I think the main event. I'm happy that it's going to be Eilish and Katie. It's a title fight. It's the first time we've had a female fight that tops the bill, and rightly so. It's fitting. It deserves it. It will do some tickets. We're looking forward to that. But equally, you got Paul Gordon v Tom Brennan. There's a lot on that. You got Paul
English
Gordon.
Eliminator, and of course, a, a bit early, but a TM14 v Nielsen for
Yeah,
that fight.
spot on. That's what I was going to say. It's a bit like the appetizer before the O2, right? Because it's definitely TM14 against Nielsen's, which we like. I'm backing my guy, which is Paul. They'll back their guy, which is Tom. But they're both lovely lads. And again, hats off to them. I think if you look on paper, you'd probably look at Paul and his record. I think he's the 8-0 now.
Yeah,
If he
former
wins this,
Southern Area champion.
yeah, he's a former Southern and he's defended it as well, and he's won an English Eliminator as well. So this is another English Eliminator. So you might want to say he's fought at a slightly higher level, or certainly won belts. But Paul's no mug, Paul. And fair play to Paul. Sorry, Tom. Tom's happy to take. He drew last time out, I think, which was in Ipswich, and that didn't go his best way. But straight in to fight a fighter like Paul. And again, whoever wins will move on. Whoever loses is no shame. Fighting 50-50 fights like this is what it's all about. But another cracking fight and another win for TM14.
And yeah, is it a final English eliminator or just an eliminator for the English?
Not a final and an eliminator, but still good for them.
It is. And yeah. So what time do the doors open on, well, a week Saturday?
Good question. I haven't looked at that yet. It'll probably be about 4:30, with the first fight about 5:30. Last time, because it's like a good night out, Ipswich don't get a load of boxing. Last time was the first show they'd had in 6 years. So appreciate it's only about 3-4 months since then. So it might not be as in demand, but we expect it to be busy. So we'll get them in there. They can all get their beers and get in and enjoy a good night of boxing.
Yeah, 100%. And is it on is it streamed anywhere, this one, or?
Yeah, it's on Fight Zone, so it's live on Fight Zone. So anyone who's tuning in can watch it. I've sat here and bigged up them 3 fights in particular, as well as the undercard. But certainly, I'd get on there. I think we're up against the Chisora card, which is on TNT. So that's no easy competitor for us. But there will be people who want to switch in and watch some of that. And whilst you might not have the level of, say, Chisora v Warland and some of the undercard, you will get an amazing card of boxing here for sure.
Well, it's sport for choice, really, on a week Saturday, because you've got your show and, of course, the Chisora Walling card, which is also a good card as well.
Yeah, definitely. You need 2 TVs in the front room, mate, or one on the MacBook and one on the TV.
100%. I'll be watching the both of them.
Make sure you got us on the TV, the big one, and put Derek Chisora on the little one, mate. You know the score.
100%, mate. You know that.
Good lad.
And yeah, are you watching Oriel Ignort's fight on Saturday? I mean, I know he's got a fight on the Stamford Bridge show, I believe, as well.
Yeah, good question. Nice to talk about other shows. So Oriel's going on the Stamford Bridge show. I think he's fighting someone who's like 4-0 with 4 knockouts, or something like that. And the Orioles 8-0 with 7 knockouts. But this opportunity came along for him. I'm not going to be there on Saturday night, sadly. I can't make it. I've got some commitments, but I will watch that. I'm with family and stuff, so I will watch that on TV. He's fighting the fellow who fought on the Barnsley card, on the Callum Simpson card. We think he wins that. But it's a great 50-50 fight. That fair play at Sky Sports for putting that on. Both fighters have taken it. We will back Oriel all day long, and if he loses, it don't matter, because, as I say all the time, they only learn. It'll probably make him stronger for his next fight for the American that he's got to fight at Chelsea on the 5th of April. But fingers crossed for Oriel.
And Adam Azim as well. He's boxing Lipnets. Who've you got for that fight?
Yeah, I love Adam. He's from Slough, which I am originally, and there's not much to be proud of coming from Slough. No offense to anyone who still lives there. So when you've got someone like Adam there, you're very proud of that. I want to say I did his first ever interview on the YouTube like you do. That
Yeah.
in my first or second, I met him when he was about 17. I walked out of there and I rang a few friends in the sport, and I was like, I've never seen anyone like that on the pads and his footwork and his hand speed, and clearly that's proven through. It's not hard to say that because everybody said it anyway.
Yeah.
Started boxing at about 4 or 5. Um, yeah, look, he's a top talent, Adam Azim, and I think he goes a long way. There's a lot of rivalry there, and there's a big debate about Dalton Smith and him. Every time one fights, someone backs that, and then the other. Dalton looked fantastic at the weekend, as I'm sure. They seem to fight at a similar time as well, so they're on a collision course down the road. I'd love to back Adam on that because I feel like he's my lad. But
That's a
yeah,
good fight though, Dalton Adam.
yeah, it's a step up. Clearly, he's fighting for a title, right? So you don't fight for titles against easy people. You would expect him to win it, but you never know because when people step up levels, that's when you find out if they're at that level. I believe that Adam is at that level and more, as most people do. His camp clearly do, or they wouldn't put him in this fight at this stage. He's still young. I know he wants to be a world champion really quickly, and sometimes people want to run before they can walk, but I think this guy can run. Even though he is young, as I said, he started off as a very, very young lad. He's got a stellar amateur career. He's done everything that's been asked of him in the pro ranks and pretty much stopped everyone in front of him, bar the odd one or two. And that's when he stepped up. I think his first fight was points. Everyone else he stopped and then stepped up, but won convincingly on points. So if he gets a points win at the weekend, I'll be happy, as I'm sure him and his team will. Good luck to him.
100%. And anything? Oh yeah. Did I ask you what time the first fight is next week?
Yeah, I think the first fight probably be about 5:30.
And main event about what time would you say roughly?
Probably about 10.
hmm And yeah, thank you for your time today, John, and good luck with the show next week.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Lovely to be on. Thanks for having me as always.
Anytime, John. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.